Hi, everyone. Welcome to English Today Journey. I'm so happy you are here. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get daily English tips and practice with me. Out on real joy and peace because you are so focused on trying to be someone else. Another hidden cost of the fixing mindset appears in relationships. Think about someone who always changes themselves to make their partner happy. They hide their real thoughts and opinions. They pretend to enjoy things they don't like, agree with ideas they don't believe in, and act in ways that feel safe rather than true. At first, it may seem like this helps the relationship. There are fewer conflicts and the partner seems happy. But over time, this approach creates a deep emptiness inside. The person who is always changing themselves begins to feel sad, frustrated, or even angry. Why? Because they're not being true to themselves. When we constantly try to fix or hide parts of who we are, our relationships stop feeling genuine. They don't feel real, and that can be painful. Instead of connection, we feel distance. Instead of love, we feel obligation or pressure. This is the hidden cost of trying to fix yourself. It affects your mind, your body, and even the people around you. So when we look closely, the costs are clear. We burn out. We stop seeing our strengths. We feel anxious and constantly pressured. Our relationships may suffer. And all of this comes from a single belief. I am not enough as I am. But it's important to remember that this belief is just a story you learned over time. It is not the truth about who you are at your core. You are not broken. You are not flawed. You are complete and whole, even with imperfections. When we try too hard to fix ourselves, especially in relationships, something important can happen. We begin to lose our sense of self. Imagine someone who changes who they are so that another person will love them. They hide their real thoughts. They act differently than they truly feel. They say yes when they want to say no. On the outside, it may look like they are succeeding. People seem happy, life seems smooth. But on the inside, they feel invisible, disconnected, and unsure of who they really are. This is the danger of the fixing mindset. We can end up losing touch with our true selves. We may achieve success, earn praise, or be liked by others, but if we are constantly trying to be someone else, we miss out on the most important connection, being fully present with ourselves. When we lose this connection, life can feel empty, even if everything on the surface seems perfect. The first step to breaking this cycle is awareness. Notice when you are trying to fix yourself to please others, to meet impossible standards, or to avoid judgment. Notice when you are hiding parts of who you are, and gently remind yourself, you are enough just as you are. You don't need to change to earn love or acceptance. Real happiness comes from being true to yourself, embracing your strengths, and accepting your imperfections. Even when it seems like we are keeping the peace or making a relationship stronger, the cost of constantly trying to fix ourselves is very high. We lose touch with who we truly are. Have you ever done this? Changed yourself just to please someone else? If you have, you know how it feels. It probably doesn't feel good at all. Maybe you felt tired, sad, or even empty inside. That feeling comes from the hidden cost of the fixing mindset. Here's how the cycle usually works. We start by believing we are not good enough.
So we try to fix ourselves.
We work harder, hide parts of who we are, or push ourselves toward perfection. But instead of feeling better, we feel worse. We become exhausted. Our confidence drops. Anxiety grows. Then we think, see, I knew it. I really do need fixing. And the cycle continues. The truth is, the problem isn't who you are. The problem is the belief that you are broken, that you need to be repaired before you can be loved or accepted. The real issue is that we try so hard to reach an impossible idea of perfection that does not exist.
No one can ever meet that standard.
Chasing it only makes us feel more tired, more anxious, and less happy. So let me ask you again. Have you ever worked so hard to change yourself that you ended up completely exhausted? Have you tried so hard to be good enough that you forgot what makes you unique? What makes you you? If your answer is yes, it's important to know this. You are not alone. Many people feel the same way. And it's not because you are broken. It's because you've been carrying a heavy belief that you must be fixed. But the truth is, you don't need fixing. You are already enough as you are. Now, let's shift our focus to something important. Instead of trying to fix ourselves, what if we explored a different path? A path of growth and self-acceptance. This is where real peace begins. Growth and fixing may seem similar at first, but they are very different. Both involve change, but the reason behind the change makes all the difference. When we try to fix ourselves, it usually comes from fear. Fear that we are not good enough. Fear that others will reject us. Or fear that life will not go well unless we are perfect. Fixing is heavy. It is stressful. It often leaves us exhausted and unhappy because it is based on what we are, not rather than what we can become. Growth, on the other hand, comes from a place of curiosity and love. Growth happens because we are interested in learning, exploring, and experiencing life. Growth is about becoming a fuller version of ourselves, not because we are broken, but because we want to live fully. Growth allows mistakes. Growth allows imperfection. Growth allows us to enjoy the journey rather than constantly feeling behind or inadequate. The difference is subtle but powerful. Fixing feels like a chore, like climbing a mountain that has no end. Growth feels like an adventure, like discovering new parts of yourself along the way. When we focus on growth instead of fixing, we open ourselves to learning, joy, and connection. We stop being trapped in self-doubt and start moving forward with confidence and kindness toward ourselves. This is the mindset we want to embrace. A mindset that allows us to grow, explore, and live fully without the heavy burden of always trying to fix ourselves. Change is a word we often hear, but not all change is the same. There's a big difference between growth and fixing, and understanding this difference can help you see yourself in a kinder and more honest way. Let's start with growth. Growth is about expanding who you are. It's about learning new things, building new skills, and becoming more of yourself, not less. When you grow, you don't need to erase parts of yourself or hide who you are. Growth is gentle. It comes naturally from curiosity, love, and the desire to experience life fully. Think about a tree. A tree doesn't worry about being perfect. It doesn't think, "Oh no, my branches aren't good enough. My leaves should be greener. I need to fix myself." A tree simply grows. Its roots stretch deep into the earth, and its branches reach toward the sun. Sometimes a branch breaks, sometimes leaves fall. The tree doesn't see itself as broken. It just keeps growing in its own time. We as humans are the same. We can learn, explore, and develop new skills. We can discover new parts of ourselves. And we can do all of this without believing we are broken or need fixing first. Growth is about adding to yourself, not repairing yourself. It allows mistakes, failures, and imperfections because these are part of life. Growth feels natural, gentle, and freeing. Now let's think about fixing. Fixing is very different. Fixing comes from the idea that something is wrong with you. It starts with the belief, "I'm not okay the way I am. Something about me is broken." When we try to fix ourselves, we hope that changing one part of ourselves will make us good enough. We focus on what's wrong, what's missing, or what needs improvement. This way of thinking can be dangerous. When we focus too much on our weaknesses, we forget to notice our strengths. We start believing that at our core, there is something wrong with us. This belief makes it hard to feel happy, peaceful, or confident, no matter how much we try to change. Fixing usually comes from fear. Fear that we are not enough, fear that we won't be accepted, and fear that we won't be loved unless we change. The key difference is this. Growth comes from love and curiosity, while fixing comes from fear and self-doubt. Growth allows mistakes. Growth encourages exploration. Growth feels light and natural. Fixing feels heavy, stressful, and never-ending because it is based on a false idea. that you are broken. When you focus on growth instead of fixing, life becomes more joyful and meaningful. You can try new things, learn, and develop yourself without being weighed down by the belief that you are not enough. Growth teaches you to be kind to yourself, to explore your potential, and to accept yourself as you are, even while you continue to improve. Remember, growth is not about erasing who you are. It is about expanding, discovering, and becoming a fuller version of yourself. Fixing is about trying to erase or repair who you are, often out of fear. By understanding this difference, you can start choosing growth over fixing, and you can begin to feel more peaceful, confident, and alive in your own skin. Growth comes from love. Fixing comes from fear. If we want a life filled with peace, joy, and freedom, we need to choose growth over fixing. One way to understand this is to imagine yourself as a piece of handmade pottery, a bowl, a vase, or a cup carefully shaped with care and attention. Because it is handmade, it is not perfect. It may have small cracks. The color may be uneven in places. The surface may not be completely smooth. When we try to fix ourselves, it's like trying to cover up those cracks on the pottery. We paint over them, hide the imperfections, and try to make the pottery look flawless. But what if those cracks are not problems at all? What if they are part of what makes the pottery beautiful and unique? In Japan, there is an art form called kintsugi. In this art, broken pottery is repaired with gold lacquer. Instead of hiding the cracks, the artist highlights them. The cracks become beautiful lines of gold. They do not reduce the value of the pottery. They increase it. The pottery becomes more special, more unique, and more meaningful because of the cracks. Now, think about yourself. What if your imperfections, mistakes, and struggles are not signs that you are broken? What if they are part of your story and part of what makes you strong, unique, and beautiful? These cracks in your life, the moments you've struggled or felt pain, do not make you less valuable. They make you more interesting and resilient. This brings us back to the difference between growth and fixing. When you focus on growth, you accept who you are right now, while still moving forward. Growth is gentle. It is natural. It allows mistakes because mistakes are part of learning and life itself. Growth helps you explore new things and improve, not because you are broken, but because you are curious and want to expand your life.